Welcome back to the CreaTech stage at CogX Hybrid Festival 2021. Thank you so much for joining us. In case you have just tuned in, CogX is a global leadership summit and festival of AI and transformational technology addressing the big question, how do we get the next 10 years right? I'm Leila Siki, Associate Director Diversity at IPA and member of the Creative Industries Council Diversity Group, and I am your MC this afternoon. CreaTech has had a stellar lineup of cutting-edge content from gaming, live performance, advertising, music, fashion, arts, and much, much more. It is worth reinstating that CreaTech is unique in that it is the intersection of creative and technology industries where innovation in AI, VR, algorithms, specialized softwares, and others are transforming creative services, outputs, and processes. CreaTech at CogX 2021 is hosted by the Creative Industries Council and supported by associate partners Digital Catapult, Facebook, Moore Kingston Smith, and UKRI. Please do join in the conversation on social using hashtag CogX 2021 and hashtag CreaTechUK. Find out more about the work of the Creative Industries Council and CreaTech at www.thecreativeindustries.co.uk. We have an exciting session up next titled How Epic Games Takes Us from Real to Unreal. Epic Games has over the years become so much more than a games company, with Hollywood using the game engine for digital sets and city planners using it for digital twin projects. You will hear from Sallyann Houghton, who is Unreal Engine Business Development M&E Fashion. Prior to Epic Games, Sallyann worked at renowned global content creation studio The Mill in New York. Today, Sallyann will talk us through the history of Epic Games and how its technology is impacting our viewing habits. Delighted you could join us this afternoon, Sallyann. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you and welcome. As the lovely Leila said, I'm Sallyann Houghton. I'm at Epic Games and I'm based at the London Innovation Lab. A very quick, brief, I promise, life story of me. I started my days as a TV producer at big global ad agencies, working on big brands. And then I spent the next 15 years or so working on all types of business, but mostly beauty and fashion. I produced endless beauty shoots, fashion films, commercials, and music videos all around the world. I then set up a production company, the most amazing education on how things actually go from being an idea on a piece of paper to a visual spectacle through a camera lens and eventually on a screen. So hopefully we're sharing my screen now. Next, I was asked by The Mill, as Leila said, the renowned content creation studio, to set up a beauty luxury division in New York. And then over the span of my career, I saw how technology was changing the way that we make, share, and view media, how we interact with each other, how we tell stories, and it sparked my interest. So things progressed, and I was making a lot of AR and VR content, and it became clear that game engine technology as an augmented layer on top of our own world, or as a fully immersive space, had the capability to create valuable experiences, and in many ways was limitless. I saw that images created on a computer, CG images, could now be fully interactive and photoreal, an exact digital twin, landscapes, characters, food, people, objects. And I found this super exciting, and I joined Epic to be part of the digital revolution. So let's start off by having a look at some of those amazing CG images. So let's very quickly, let me tell you what we do at the lab. Our amazing lab in London town is Epic's first 100% community-facing office. And our mission is to bring the Unreal Engine to the creative content industry to help everyone move forward with their real-time endeavors. And we do this in lots of different ways, by inspiring people with knowledge and hands-on real-time experiences at the lab or virtually, with support, whether it's creative support or technical support from our team of technical artists. And we help connect people with other industry members. We encourage a sharing, open community. So the purpose of today's talk is to give you some background to the Unreal Engine and to explain how game engine technology is having a significant impact across multiple industries and also on the viewing habits of us all. So let's start in the future. In the near future, the interactivity of gaming, the accessibility of the internet, and the fidelity of high-end TV and film are all going to come together to create a new type of virtual connected experience that is sometimes referred to as the Metaverse, or a 3D version of the internet. Within this digital space, you'll be able to do all the things that you can do in the real world and many things that you cannot. It will have its own robust economy. It will be persistent, meaning it will never stop, pause, or reset. It will go on continuously. There will be events that will happen that you'll schedule into your calendar, just as you would in real life. But beyond that, the Metaverse concept will be a living experience that exists for everyone in real time. And everyone will be able to be part of this experience and participate in a specific activity all together with no cap on numbers. And the aim is that it is created and operated by a wide range of contributors, a true and real community space. Maybe you're familiar with the Metaverse. Maybe it's still a little bit sci-fi for you. Regardless, the Metaverse concept is already happening to some extent. Pretty much all of us now have a digital presence, even an emoji designed to look like us that we'll send to our friends. And we'll connect on digital platforms in the form of games and social media. Is it such a huge leap to see this beginning to become more sophisticated with a digital avatar on a platform and being fully immersed in a 3D space? Many people are already very comfortable in a truly digital interactive space. The internet says that there are 2.7 billion gamers in the world, and 46% of them are women. Video game players represent a diverse cross-section of the globe's population, spanning every age, gender, and ethnicity. The average age is 33, and they come from all backgrounds. Billions of people are already playing, socializing, and sourcing all types of entertainment in a virtual space. But let's get back to that a little bit later. Let me first give you some context. What is a game engine? And I'm sure some of you already know, but I'm going to answer the question very quickly anyway, because it'll help me explain the rise of the game engine. And to answer the question, we have to start with the two different ways of creating three-dimensional content. So one is GPU-based, which is used in gaming and game engines, and the other is CPU-based, historically used in TV and film. So what's the difference? So, well, video games require 3D that is real-time or live. The viewer as the player is able to have an impact on the 3D. Every move, decision the player makes affects what the 3D image looks like and what it does. And as you know, in traditional VFX, this is not the case. The purpose of traditional VFX is to generate a very realistic looking 3D image that is used as part of a linear storytelling experience. There's no ability to impact the image and change the narrative or experience. And in most cases, the artist cannot work in real time. When creating the 3D character or environment, they have to render, they have to let the computer process all of the creative requests before the artist can see the progress. Now, historically, game engines have produced lower quality 3D visuals, and CPU-based 3D will never be interactive. So what's changing? Two things. Game engine technology has advanced at a far faster rate than CPU technology. It is now possible for a game engine like Unreal to create completely realistic looking CG that rivals the fidelity of CPU rendered CG. And the second big change is that other technological changes have led to our viewing habits changing. It's not all about linear TV anymore. Thanks to cloud-based rendering and 5G, assets for AR, MR, VR, anything interactive or immersive, all require real-time game engine-based 3D to provide an interactive experience. So you're now watching the latest Unreal Engine demo for UE5, Unreal Engine 5, that launched as early access a few weeks ago. This shows the incredible aesthetic of a game engine, and it's totally interactive. We're now living as part of an interactive age where things that were once thought to be impossible are being created all around us. That's because real-time 3D technology and pipelines fundamentally change the way in which we create and innovate and collaborate. Instead of the development process being hindered by a time-intensive, slow rendering process, it's transformed into an instant one. It's no longer fixed and one way. Iteration and collaboration can happen in the moment, enabling teams to push their ideas and projects further and faster. Real-time engines don't produce static artifacts. They output fully interactive worlds and assets that are ready for multi-use across any digital media. Okay, I hope this all makes sense. I'm going to change the pace a little bit now by sharing a bit of background on Epic Games and where we fit into all of this. So in 1991, Tim Sweeney programmed his first video game called ZZT in the basement of his mom and dad's house. And when Tim shipped the game, he did it with shareware, so it could be modified. With such humble beginnings, Tim wanted to give the impression that the operation was a bit bigger than it was, so he named his company Epic Mega Games. And in due course, this was modestly simplified to Epic Games. Tim was smart even back then as a young man. He soon realized that the program he had written and built ZZT on could potentially be used by games developers to create their own games. So 22 years ago, this led to the creation of the Unreal Engine. This was the first time that Epic were able to take the graphics program that was the foundation of a game and license it to other AAA developers to build their game at a couple of $1 million a pop. And just in case you're not a gamer, AAA games are the most sophisticated with visually stunning and complex worlds. So the Unreal Tournament, Gears of War, and Infinity Blade have all been huge gaming hits for Epic and have helped to battle test the engine. Gears of War is one of the biggest franchises in video game history. Infinity Blade was the first AAA console game available on mobile. Billions of dollars in revenue have been made by developers using the Unreal Engine to produce their own titles. And it's common for many of the top 10 games to be built using Unreal Engine. So we can't talk about games without mentioning Fortnite, arguably one of the most successful games on the planet. There are now around 350 million Fortnite players. It's become a cultural phenomenon going well beyond the traditional video game audience. Its scale is massive, it has seasonal frequent updates, and it's reactive to its audience. It has up to 11 million concurrent players at any one time. It was the first game to truly break the barrier between the gaming platforms. You can play a game with your friends, but on any platform: PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, PC, mobile. So what does this have to do with you guys? Well, Fortnite is arguably an early example of the metaverse. It's not just a game. As well as a battle royale game itself, Fortnite is a place to hang out with your friends. It's a three-dimensional play space where you can fire your friend out of a cannon, goof around in a shopping trolley. You can be immersed in a live music event, watch a film, or buy some new threads. It's a place where cinematic events and gaming interactivity come together. It's a place where you can be creative too. Fortnite Creative is a mode where everyone can freely build an online experience in Fortnite, no matter the scale. Whether it's big or small, Fortnite Creative allows creators to showcase their designs, games, and experiences to their friends or millions of people around the world. Which brings me to this, the Travis Scott concert from last year. There were over 27.7 million unique players in-game that participated live. And that's not counting all the people that watched on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter as I did. Also, DJ Marshmello did a set in Fortnite way back in February, which at the time was the largest live music event ever with an audience of 10.7 million. And most recently, there was Galactus. A record 15.3 million concurrent players joined forces to fight back Galactus in our biggest in-game event ever. More than 3.5 million cheered and watched on YouTube and Twitch. Even Star Wars was launched in Fortnite back in 2019. As you can see, Fortnite is a virtual world where other real-world IP can exist and coexist. There are limited time versions of the game based on characters from the film and TV world. Avengers, John Wick, Stranger Things. In-game, you can represent your favorite sports team by wearing their strip. You can even get the latest Nike trainers virtually before they're released in the real world. And there are many, many more partnerships to come. Then, of course, there's Fortnite World Cup. 40 million people competed. It was the most sophisticated broadcast event with 2.3 million live viewers online, and the competitors take home $30 million in prize money. Fortnite World Cup is one of many huge esports events that are drawing huge crowds and getting the attention of consumers and brands from all industries. Fortnite is a great example of how game engine-based content can open things up. But there are many more other amazing examples of how Unreal Engine is helping to create new types of content. So one important thing to mention at this point is the game engine, Unreal Engine, is free to download. So around 7 years ago, Tim Sweeney, he's moved out of the basement, he's now our CEO, decided to change our business model and give the Unreal Engine away so everyone could explore the possibilities with it. And since 2015, Kim Libreri and his special projects team have led the cinematic development of the engine. Kim and many of his team are from the film VFX world and are constantly striving to bring the engine up to the top level of film VFX. Prior to Epic, Kim was the VFX supervisor for the Matrix trilogy and has 2 technical Oscars for his work in innovating VFX technology. Special partnership projects each year have led to enormous strides in what the engine is capable of. Major advances have been made, such as the incorporation of ray tracing, allowing the engine to truly accurately mimic real-world lighting physics. And it's not just Kim and his team that push the envelope. Unreal's user base is steadily growing with 11 million licensees that are all helping to create amazing new advances using the engine. One area that the engine excels is CG cars. Since Epic first collaborated with McLaren for a groundbreaking configurator back in 2016, Unreal has become the predominant real-time tool for the car industry, helping to create the highest quality CG cars and touching all parts of the auto industry, from design to sales and marketing to autonomous simulation and the interior graphics of the next generation of vehicles. And there's architecture. The Unreal Engine has become one of the most widely used tools in the architectural industry. Renowned companies such as Foster's and Partner and Hadid rely heavily on Unreal to visualize their latest designs. Epic's recent acquisition of Twinmotion has greatly expanded the capabilities of Unreal and opened up one of the most powerful architectural asset tools to the engine's users. Live television is another area where the use of Unreal Engine has exploded. It's widely used for sporting broadcast, providing virtual sets and detailed analysis for sports such as golf, motor racing, and football. You've probably seen it used to augment live music events for the likes of Madonna and Childish Gambino, the Eurovision Song Contest, and the Super Bowl. Unreal can also be incredibly effective at help create impact for current events. The Weather Channel especially love it. And in the world of high-end film and television, the Unreal Engine is having a huge impact on how productions are pre-visualized, shot, and finally how the VFX is generated. Take a look at this video clip. Look at how shows like Game of Thrones use Unreal to meticulously plan and shoot enormous battle sequences.
The third floor is a frequent contributor in the visualization and virtual production of today's most epic film and television projects. The ability to execute rapid iteration of creative ideas within real-world parameters is the third floor's expertise. Demonstrated in this past season's scene from HBO's Game of Thrones is a real-time interactive visualization workflow. Capabilities include new ways to scout sets, plan practical shooting, and frame the action virtually. Advancements from the Unreal Engine are at the hub of many possible future media creation and consumption pathways and are only a beginning in a sea of possibilities for the way content can be visualized, developed, and viewed.
This level of planning and execution ensures that every dollar or pounds or euros is wisely spent putting amazing content on screen without the usual indecision or wastage. This next clip is from just over a year ago and demonstrates how the engine can be used not only to create amazing photoreal CG, but also how it can be used to create a truly virtual film environment where you can change live performances, edit on the fly, and change lighting and camera setups, all virtually using Unreal. So this clip can be a little bit of a mind tease. So just remember, the Star Wars environment is all CG created in engine. On stage is a mocap artist, Gavin, puppeteering the CG Stormtrooper. There's also a director in VR. He's the guy doing all the talking. He's choosing his camera and lens, and he's organizing his shot. And finally, there's an editor, Grayson, taking the footage from the virtual camera and cutting it into the existing sequence.
So Grayson, let's scrub to the part where we first see Phasma, please.
Sure.
So Gavin, when this trooper turns around and notices Phasma, this time around, let's try a bigger reaction than last time.
Okay, bigger.
Grayson, let's play back the old performance.
I heard Kylo Ren destroyed the one over in D sector. If you ask me, who's ever in charge of this place should be transferred to Houghton. What?
Okay, got it. Got it. Cool. Let's rewind. We'll hide the old performance.
Okay.
And let's give a mark for Gavin to start on. Cool. Let's get Gavin into costume, please.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Look at that.
And I'm going to set up a camera here. So we're a bit wide on this. Let's go closer to 75.
Okay, go into 75.
Cool. And we'll pull focus during the shot from the trooper to Phasma. So let's open the elevator doors.
Okay, you got it.
And pull deep. Great. So we have those two focus points. Let's rewind. And roll camera.
Rolling?
If you ask me, who's ever in charge of this place should be transferred to Houghton. What?
And cut.
And cut.
Great. Grayson, let's drop this new take into the cut.
Okay, you got it.
So in the last few minutes, we recorded a new performance. We adjusted the lighting, and we set up a new camera for a shot. And Grayson's working on showing us that new content now in Unreal Editor in the context of the sequence. And the nice thing with the multi-user functionality is that a whole team of people can work together in the same scene at the same time, just like we do on a film set. And that multi-user functionality will be available to everyone in an upcoming release of Unreal. Grayson, how are we doing?
I think we're good to go.
Let's see it.
What's the story with all the elevators lately? I heard Kylo Ren destroyed the one over in D sector. If you ask me, who's ever in charge of this place should be transferred to Houghton. What? Ooh. You think she heard us? Yeah, I think she heard us. At least we blend in for once.
So amazing. The Unreal Engine is getting so good, it's becoming indistinguishable from the real thing. It's also changing the way that we make content. This clip is from a short film trailer by Quixel Megascans. It uses their bank of readily available 3D scans and photographic landscape textures to create incredibly realistic imagery. The short film is called Rebirth, and it's all created in Engine.
Adaptation. The ability to learn from past experience. The use of knowledge to alter their environment. These virtues defined our creators and drove them to the brink of destruction. But we cannot exist without them. We must save her. What if our creators exist within us? Humanity has always had the potential to recognize its flaws and choose a better way. Can we save humanity? Was bringing her here the right choice?
And that brings us to virtual production and in-camera VFX. I think we've all seen Hollywood films shooting on huge green stages and then the world being added later. Well, it's now possible to replace green screen studios with LED screens, showing a CG environment fully tracked to the camera so that as the camera moves, the backdrop moves, always giving the right perspective and appearing totally three-dimensional and realistic. No more post-production, just production. Take a look at our latest Sizzler reel showing all the amazing LED stages that are popping up around the world.
We were really one of the early adopters for virtual production here in the Southeast, and we got excited about the technology because of the future of what it could be.
Ce que permet ce nouvel outil, c'est de donner de nouveaux moyens créatifs aux clients afin de pouvoir projeter leur production dans des univers qui jusqu'à présent étaient inatteignables en live.
Also das ist natürlich beeindruckend, was man hier sehen kann. Das ist, ich würde sagen, die Perfektionierung der Zukunft, zum Know-how in dieser Digitalisierungsvariante ist das einfach ein neues Drehen.
E no final da diária, você acaba saindo, possivelmente, com um material praticamente finalizado, onde você não precisa consertar nada.
We're only scraping the surface of what this technology can do. The benefits are countless. And the day will finally come when we all will say, green screen, your services are no longer required.
Studios is a Spanish-based company specialized in an integral solution for filmmaking. The name is Alex Stuckey, and we're a single frame figure in Milan, Italy, a new film studio.
A great example of in-camera VFX is The Mandalorian. Some of you may have seen it. Over 60% of the show was done in camera, which for a piece that is set in a universe that is not our own, with dramatic landscapes and strange inhabitants, it's incredible. We've got a great case study article and film on our website. So if you're interested, check it out on unrealengine.com. And finally, that brings us to virtual humans. Epic have collaborated many times with the likes of 3Lateral and Cubic Motion to produce stunning real-time CG humans. 2 years ago, Epic acquired 3Lateral, world-renowned for their CG human rigs, so that many of their tools for creating super realistic humans could be democratized and incorporated into the engine for everyone to utilize. And last month, we launched the Metahuman Creator, a digital human configurator, fully rigged and ready to personalize incredibly sophisticated digital human characters. This is such a huge development for the creative industry, so big that I think it's worth a little video.
You create the narrative. I am
Metahuman.
Initial spark for the Metahuman idea was just the fascination with digital characters in CG. To us, digital humans are something magical even, and infinitely complicated. Metahuman Creator is a cloud stream application that lets anybody create high-fidelity digital characters. What used to take months now takes minutes, and people don't even have to think about all the technical steps that they normally would need to take.
We're going after 3 really hard problems, and we're not compromising on any of those. Outright quality that you'd expect in a AAA game for a digital human. Making sure that anyone can use this tool, that anyone can create a character in minutes or hours that used to take weeks and months. And all of that has to work at that fidelity with rigged and ready to animate in-engine in real time.
This topic, previously reserved only for teams with large budgets and a large amount of time, now is accessible to everybody, and even to people outside of the industry.
It's like really a very robust, but very simple to use system. And it's really a joy when you just sit there in front of the tool and you can just like focus yourself on the sheer creativity and you get excited about exploring.
The Metahuman Creator uses a library of real scans of people. So when you move the handles around to create a character, you're mixing together these different parts of real people to create something that's still really believable and lifelike and has personality. But it's not just creating the shape of the face. You can also choose wrinkles applied to the face to make a character look older. But we're not just applying this as a texture onto the face. We also subtly change the geometry of the face at the same time to make sure those wrinkles really match with the shape of the face and just bring the whole thing together into a realistic and believable character.
One of the really cool features that you get out of the box with the Metahuman Creator is that you're essentially focused on creating the high quality character, but at the same time you get multiple levels of details.
We take the hugely detailed strand-based hair and turn that into carved-based groom and then into a simple helmet. We take the geometry of the face and make simplified versions of that. We also simplify the materials so that you can use these characters in a crowd or on a range of different devices. It's also creating a new rig for the character, which controls how they move, how they emote, and that really brings life to the character.
And then there's this other moment when you hit play and it comes to life. And that's really the benefit of being real time and always generating this fully rigged version of the face is you hit play and it moves, it's alive.
And this person who's come from your imagination that doesn't exist in real life is suddenly there looking at you, smiling at you. That is kind of magical.
When you look at Metahuman Creator or things we're doing with Quixel Megascans, the things that are coming in Unreal 5, I think the type of content we're going to see from very small teams and individuals is going to be a massive shift.
Metahuman can be your endpoint. It can be the character that goes into your game. It can also be your starting point where you start creating your own layers on top of what Metahuman provides. I feel that we've accomplished something truly remarkable here by creating these digital characters with which you can empathize. Our whole team spent years designing this database and these rigs, and we're so excited to give this back to the community around the world.
So what does all this mean for the creative content industry and for you? Firstly, it's important to note that consumers are engaging with content differently. According to Netflix, Fortnite is a bigger eyeball draw and therefore potential competitor for audience attention than any other network. Hence, it makes sense for the worlds of Netflix and Fortnite to come together via a collaboration like the recent Stranger Things tie-in. The same applies for big screen events and sporting tournaments. These worlds can come together and both be stronger for it. The future is all about collaboration. So we can now create any narrative within a three-dimensional universe. In real time, that's interactive and responsive, where all assets are universal and can be used across multiple platforms. A space that allows for virtual creative collaboration, where creative iteration can happen quickly and in plain view, allowing for greater creative exploration. And thanks to 5G and the advances in cloud-based rendering, AR, MR, VR, any immersive experience is much more accessible and wanted by the consumer. And it's also possible to create CG that is indistinguishable from the real thing. Imagine how powerful a universal asset can be for advertising, marketing, fashion, retail, automotive, basically any industry. Whether you use it in a game, in an ad, TV placement, a print ad, adaptive social media, an immersive experience, a game, a training simulation, one asset speaks to all. And the process of creating these interactive assets and immersive worlds is becoming more and more democratized by sophisticated, user-friendly tools and software that's freely available. Anyone can be a creator. So the future is a very exciting space. And we, the lab, are here to help the creative community to do great real-time interactive creative content and make it easier to use the Unreal Engine to create content and experiences in ways that have not yet been imagined. Now back to the metaverse. It seems fitting to end as we began. So it appears that metaverse is our ultimate destination, a fair and fluid place encompassing all aspects of life, play, knowledge, storytelling, beauty, and most importantly, identity. I believe our focus should now be to glide towards the metaverse and enable its citizens to create and share their unique identities and to belong to a community. Style and self-expression and personal taste in media and most certainly, if not, key elements of identity in the real world. Making creative media, the arts, music, the fashion industry, brands and games a powerful vehicle towards a metaverse with unique, invested citizens. So what's the roadmap for the metaverse? In reality, nobody knows. It will be a long journey with many collaborations along the way. What I am certain of is that there will soon be a shift in the conversation. The question is no longer what is the metaverse? The question is, who am I in the metaverse? And as people begin to explore and develop the answer to this question through avatars and digital worlds, try-ons, garments, games, and customization, maybe our jobs are to support and amplify their curiosity, enabling the evolving community to express their identity. So thank you very, very much for listening. I think we may have, first of all, if you do want to learn any more about Unreal Engine and virtual production, then please do head to our webpage or web pages and check out lots of case studies and articles that we have. So that's Unreal Engine, that's unrealengine.com and uevirtualproduction.com. So we don't have to share my screen anymore if we don't want to. I wonder if there are any questions.
Thank you so much, Sallyann. That was fascinating. The CG images were absolutely stunning. It's just completely takes you into a different world. So many questions, but we don't have too much time. So if you could give me a quick 30-second answer to this one, that would be fun.
I'll try.
Cool. So what are the demographic details of the millions who get involved in these sort of games?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I genuinely don't know the answer to that question. Well, more detailed than it covers, all aspects of life, all demographics, all people. And I don't have anything that I can share past that. We're not really data driven at Epic. And we kind of appreciate that everyone's data is their own. And so it's the kind of thing that only the internet would know. And where the internet got it from, even I don't know.
All right, awesome. Well, I think a lot of people picked up so much from you today. So thank you so much. And we will be in with another session at 5 p.m. Don't go anywhere.